Hello, hola, and bonjour. This is my new YouTube channel, and today we are going to learn all about plants. Welcome to Seriously Simplified Science, and let's begin. This is a two-part video in which we will look at every aspect, every nook and corner of a plant. Let me brief you through the contents before we begin. Part 1 will be all about photosynthesis and everything related to it in the universe. In Part 2, we will look at reproduction in plants. So, let's begin. Basically, photosynthesis is the process in which a plant uses sunlight, water, minerals, and carbon dioxide to create glucose and oxygen. Let's take a look at each aspect of photosynthesis one by one. Let's begin our journey from the soil. The soil provides water to the plant. A plant root goes deep inside the soil so that it can keep the plant attached firmly to the ground and also to absorb water from the soil. In every root, there are root hairs attached in this manner. Root hairs are made up of small hair cells called root hair cells, which are specialized in absorbing water by osmosis. We'll come to osmosis in a second, but before that, we need to understand how are these root hair cells specialized in absorbing water. Firstly, root hair cells are very small in size, so hairs can grow into the spaces between the soil particles. And secondly, they have a large surface area and are capable of absorbing water from all around them. Osmosis is a process by which molecules of a solvent tend to go from a less concentrated solution into a more concentrated one. The soil water is more dilute than that of the cell sap in the root hair cells. Therefore, water will pass into the vacuole of the root hair cells by osmosis. Plants also need minerals. These minerals are already dissolved in the water the root hair cells absorb. Once the water and minerals pass through the root hairs and into the xylem, which is a tube-like structure made up of dead cells. It is carried up by the transpiration pull of the plant, and it sets out on its journey to the leaves. The transpiration pull is a pull which helps in transportation of water from the roots to the leaves. Before we proceed, let's take a look at the structure of a leaf. As you can see here, these are the main layers of a leaf. This is the waxy layer. It stops the leaf from drying out. And this is the upper epidermis, which protects the cells inside the leaf. This is the palisade layer, where most of the photosynthesis takes place. This one here is the spongy layer, and as the name suggests, it has a lot of air spaces. This is a vein carrying water to the leaf. This is the lower epidermis. And finally, this is the stoma. It is a tiny hole in the lower epidermis which releases oxygen and excess water from the leaf and lets carbon dioxide from the air get into the leaf. Fun fact: plants release 97 to 99.5% of the water they absorb from the soil. Only a small amount of water is needed for photosynthesis. We also need to know the structure of a plant cell. A plant cell contains a cell membrane, a cell wall, the chloroplast, a vacuole, and a nucleus, and a cytoplasm. The chloroplast in the leaf cells contains a green pigment known as chlorophyll. Chlorophyll absorbs sunlight. Now that all the things needed for photosynthesis are collected in the plant cell, the cells photosynthesize. This leads to the production of oxygen and glucose. The oxygen is released through the stoma into the air. But now, there is a small problem. A plant cannot store glucose inside the cells because glucose is soluble in water. But plants have the right solution to this problem as well. Plants are intelligent beings. Thousands of glucose molecules are linked together to form a starch molecule. Starch can be stored easily in plants because it is insoluble in water. Some basic summary points. Most plants are always at the start of the food chain. They are producers, meaning they can make their own food. Any material made up of living cells and tissues is called biomass. Plants need water to stay upright and maintain their temperature. The xylem is a tube-like structure made of living cells which transports the products of photosynthesis to all the parts of the plant. So that marks the end of our journey. To be continued in part 2. Link in the description box.